But I will say this, man. Frank Martin is the Bruce Ennis of 135 pounds. I think Frank Martin, he suffers from the same thing that Bruce Ennis suffer from when it comes to
Chin tucked boxing, baby.
Yep, it's your boy Jay Slayman with CTB, Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm most definitely gonna break your chin with this one, man. Hey, it's been reported by Mike Coppinger from ESPN that early summer, late spring possibly, we were gonna get a 135-pound title fight against Frank the Ghost Martin and Gervonta Tank Davis. This is big news, man, for several reasons, man. This is big news most definitely because this will be possibly one of the first cards that we are seeing on Amazon Prime, man, when it comes to PBC. I'm hoping that the production value is going to be great, and I'm hoping that PBC and Amazon will be a match made in heaven because, let's be honest, boxing is looking rough out here for goddamn TV deals and sponsorships, man. So I hope this is actually a match made in heaven for fight, man, for us fight fans, for real, for real. But also, it's a big fight because 135 pounds have been quiet, bro. It's been quiet since Devin Haney moved up to 140, since Shakur Stevenson had a lackluster fight in his last performance, and let's be honest, since Tank Davis got locked up last year after he knocked out Ryan Garcia. So this is a good opportunity to get not only Tank Davis back in the ring, but it also puts him in there with, let's be honest, man, a lot of people thought he was going to take a warm-up. Frank Martin ain't no warm-up. I don't care what no casual fans say. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. People going to start saying who Frank Martin fight. They'll start saying, doing all this kind of shit to try to minimize who Frank Martin is. Frank Martin is nobody's warm-up. Frank Martin, in my opinion, is relatively untested in some ways when it comes to the championship level. But he is a tough scrap, man. He's really top 5 in that division right now. I don't care what nobody says about him. If you're a casual fan, you never seen him fight, watch film on the bull before you start criticizing the man. But I will say this, man. Frank Martin is the Bruce Ennis of 135 pounds. I think Frank Martin, he suffers from the same thing that Bruce Ennis suffer from when it comes to the fan base. I feel like he's overrated by a lot of people, and I feel like he's grossly underrated by a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people who see Frank Martin as the goods, they put him on a pedestal saying that, you know, he can beat anybody at 135. People saying that, you know, he's going to run through the division. He's just a big puncher. You know what I'm saying? He's the goods. People are scared to fight him, blase, blase. But then you got that fan base who's also saying that he hasn't fought nobody. He's relatively unproven. You know, let's see what happens when he's in there with a real fighter, blase, blase, blah. When in actuality, in my opinion, he's somewhere in the middle. Why, yes, I do want to see Frank Martin tested. I can't wait to see him on this level. But also, he has two goods to match anybody at that level, in my opinion. Do I have him beating Tank? Absolutely not. Do I think he has a chance to beat Tank? He has more of a chance that I gave Ryan Garcia. To be honest, he has more of a chance that I gave Pitbull Cruz. And we've seen how tough a fight Pitbull Cruz made it with Gervonta, even though Gervonta had a hurt hand in that fight. So yes, I most definitely give Frank Martin a big chance to beat Tank. But I also see it as a far-fetched fight. But there's no knock on Frank Martin. That is just me being from the DMV area. I've been a Tank Davis fan since back in the day. So this is me being a quote-unquote fanboy when it comes to Tank. But I also respect the sport enough to give Frank Martin his just due. I do see a small window in which he could give Tank issues, but I don't know what his chin is like. I never seen him take a good punch. I never seen him get really tested for real in a fight to where he had to bite down, not just because he was behind on points, but because he was actually getting hurt in the fight. So I want to see how that happens. But skill for skill, man, this is going to be a close fight. But this is why I think it's going to get him in trouble with Tank. This is why I think Frank Martin has to, you know, relatively improve on, in my opinion. And I think Derrick James may not be the guy to do it because Derrick James has that style where he has fighters fight this way. Where, let's be honest, man, Frank Martin is just like Errol Spence. He fights exactly like Errol Spence. He has a come forward off the jab, combination punching when he get in mid range, the close range, and it's relentless pressure. That's his style. I think that fundamentally sound style, when he's coming off the jab, his feet is constantly planted in the right positions, and he's always doing the right cuts and right moves. The textbook style, the quote-unquote Tim Duncan style, which everybody labeled Errol Spence as being, that he was a Tim Duncan of boxing. I think that gets a lot of fighters in trouble when they fight somebody who's athletically superior. When you fight an athletically superior fighter who has cracks in his punches, I feel like the fundamentally sound fighter can get timed and can get hurt in those fights. This is why I picked Terrence Crawford to beat Errol Spence. I thought Terrence Crawford was just too athletically sound, fundamentally sound at the same time, but he was athletically gifted, great counterpuncher, and he had cracks in both hands, and he punched between punches. He punched between punches with accuracy. Tank Davis is that same type of fighter where he athletically gifted, fundamentally sound, but at the same time he punched between punches with cracks. So I think that is a recipe for Frank Martin to get caught with some shit. Not to mention Tank Davis's defense is underrated. Frank Martin's defense is also underrated. You really don't see him catch a lot of clean shots to the face, to the head. He get hit, of course, it's a fight, everybody get hit. But he don't catch any jaw-dropping shots often, in my opinion. But, like I said, he hasn't fought nobody on Tank level yet. Now, let's go on to Tank. Tank has a stigma of being like Floyd and not fighting African-American fighters. A lot of people are saying that he's afraid of African-American fighters because of the athleticism that African-American fighter has. They're saying that Tank Davis, he avoids fighters that know how to move while punching at the same time. To be honest, we as black people, man, we have a somewhat gift of athleticism that was just bestowed upon us. We are some of the most, if not the most athletic people on the planet. So they are saying that he, of course, was afraid to fight somebody on that level as far as athleticism goes. If that is true, he goes there with Frank Martin off a layoff. They could spell, if he have a rusty night, man, let's be honest. If he has a rusty night or he hurt his hand the way he did against Pitbull, then Frank Martin can win this fight, man. Frank Martin can actually go ahead and outwork Tank and have Tank, on the back foot all night long, the way Rolly had Tank early on in their fight before he got caught. So Tank has to go in there with his mind right. He has to go in there with his mind on the fight. You know what I'm saying? He has to go in there knowing that this guy is not just some normal guy to go in there with and then try to sit back and wait and hope you catch him with that shot. This ain't the type of fight for that. He has to go in there and look for that shot and try to push back Frank Martin. He has to get Frank Martin uncomfortable on that level, in my opinion. That is the only chance I give Frank Martin to win, of course, if Tank doesn't do that. But I'm looking forward to the fight, man. I want to know in the comment section what you guys think. Do you agree with anything that I said? Do you disagree with anything that I said? Do you really think that Tank Davis, was afraid of African American fighters? Are you like me, and do you compare Bruce Ennis to Frank Martin? Do you think Frank Martin is the Bruce Ennis of 135? He's superiorly untested, but at the same time, he is the goods and the future of that division. Let me know in the comment section what you think. This is your boy Jay Slay, and I got your chin right there, boy. Peace.
Chin tucked boxing, baby.